Today we're going to be listening to, reacting to and reviewing the new YUNGBLUD album Idols for the first time.
This is YUNGBLUD'S fourth studio album, coming off the back of his previous album, which was his self-titled 3 years ago, so I'm expecting big things from this.
For years now he's been creating quite a wave in the UK rock and punk scene. I've listened to a lot of YUNGBLUD'S work and I've quite enjoyed a lot of it in the past, so I'm really excited to see what I think of this new album. Let's start with the first track in Hello Heaven Hello.
Really like this use of guitar with the weird filters on the guitars and his voice at the same time. Sounds really cool.
He just sounds so British on every song I ever hear him on. It's proper England, isn't it?
Bring them drums in. That's nice. Like it.
Very light feeling. Happy vibes.
You know, his voice sounds a lot different to what I usually expect from YUNGBLUD on this track in particular.
Quite like that intersection there with the two lines. That I Want to Feel Alive sounds raw. It's like rah.
Ooh, spacey little interlude. Very trippy. That was a nice guitar tone.
Some big guitar notes. Woo. This is proper epic feeling.
This guitar lines feels like some 80s band. The vocals do too, like hair metal almost, you know what I mean?
This feels like it could be a soundtrack of you like walking somewhere, you're getting hyped for something, you know, the start of a film. Couple strings coming in now. Wow, this is epic.
There's a lot of musicality across this whole track. A lot. Some sick guitar work as well. Props to whoever's doing the guitar
I'm
on this.
shocked. I wasn't expecting it to be like this at all. I mean, there's still a while left in the track. It's navigated us through it really well so far, though. I'm intrigued to see if in this last section they can do something interesting again to revitalize it one last time.
It's like 3 separate genres in one track.
This is mad.
This is crazy. Feel like that track was a proper adventure. Like we went from here to there to everywhere, and just listening to that track itself feels like you could extrapolate that to the length of an album and have a whole piece of work there.
What an introduction to an album, though, and this is a very different sound to what YUNGBLUD usually puts out straight from the bat. I thought that was a really good track, especially at 9 minutes when I saw the runtime. I was a bit like, what's this going to be? There wasn't a moment in that I was bored.
It didn't feel like 9 minutes of runtime. It felt like, at most, maybe 3 separate songs at 3 minutes that all just led into each other. And it was just an experience, if anything. I'm just going to read what it says on Apple Music here, which is, would this be the album you would expect me to make next? He asked Apple Music. And the answer was, fuck no. And I completely agree with that, because that was not at all what I was expecting from YUNGBLUD.
Really enjoyed that. Completely different sound. Let's see what the next track is like in Idols Part 1. What is going on here, man?
I like this, though.
I do, but
like
what's
this.
happening? I was expecting a punk album.
Again, his voice is not what I've come to expect from YUNGBLUD. And he's actually delivering some really nice vocals on this.
To be fair, I've always thought his vocals have been quite
I think
good.
he's a good vocalist, yeah, but this feels particularly standout.
It's completely different altogether.
Some nice bass work going on. Caught
Nice
that.
guitar work going on in the back there, though.
I really like that. That's ace. That was a really good follow-up to that first track. Like I was saying, it kind of carries on that epic feel. That's the only word I can use to describe it, with all the kind of orchestra instrumentation on top of the regular band instruments and, you know, YUNGBLUD's fantastic voice. Epic track.
Yeah, I think that this stuck to one lane, which was probably needed, having had gone in every direction on the first track. I liked it. I thought it was pretty straightforward, to be honest. It was just like a good old school feeling indie track, but with a bit more grandness about it. Enjoyed it.
So let's move on to the next track, which is Lovesick Lullaby. I like that carry on of the last note and then building off that into this new track. It's still got that indie feel to it, hasn't it?
It's like Mike Skinner meets Blur.
Yeah, it really is. I really like that. And the guitar. That little bent note, there's 3 bent notes there. I like that. I'll be completely honest, I'm usually somewhat put off by YUNGBLUD'S vocals. They're not always something that I'm particularly wanting to listen to. In that track, he delivered what he would usually deliver vocals like, and I thought it worked really well. Like, it sounded really good. I liked it.
He's a changed man.
This
album has changed him. I really liked that, but I felt like it proper reminded me of The Streets, of Just Jack, of all of those older British, more spoken wordy rapper types. I think that he did a very good job of it. It was just strange to hear. I, again, wasn't expecting that. I did like the theme of the song in terms of being very British and, you know, going to buy some hash from the guy around the corner and try to impress your friends and X, Y, and Z. It was cool. It was a very English song again. I don't know how well this will translate to American fans.
But this whole album is subverting expectations, so let's see if the next track does the same with Zombie.
But before we get onto that, if you are a YUNGBLUD fan, let us know what your favourite track from Idols is in the comments, and also hit like and subscribe. This is the Coldplay song. I have heard this.
The
definitely.
Coldplay song,
Yeah.
it has got that Coldplay vibe to it.
It's exactly the same guitar progression.
Stars.
Yeah. I like how there's just different things coming in and out in the background. Like I heard the Macarena come in a second ago. Oh, that's probably not actually what it is it?
The Macarena? That's a dance. That's a maraca.
What?
The Macarena's that.
Yo, you knew what I meant. You got there.
Maracas, yeah. There's some great vocals again on this. Some great vocals, man.
I don't know why that shocks you so much.
I don't know either, but I'm pleasantly surprised. Let's put it that way. So grandioso, isn't it? It's just so big. Addition of some nice strings there. All round nice track. A lot less noteworthy than the previous three, but still a decent track.
I think I actually preferred this to Idols Part 1.
You reckon?
Yeah, I liked the energy in there. I thought the vocals were fantastic. It did very much remind me of that Coldplay, Is It Yellow?
I think
with the opening guitar note is practically exactly the same. And there was even other elements of the track which sounded similar. Maybe that actually lends into me liking it a bit though.
I think with this track though, there's sometimes when you hear a track and you think they're ripping that off. This feels heavily inspired, which is always nice to see because it doesn't feel like he's trying to hide the fact that he might have been inspired by that track and then he's made it into his own as well. So yeah, I like it.
But up next, Tim, is The Greatest Parade.
It's got a bit more of that punky vibe to it, hasn't it?
This feels more like 2000s indie grunge, you know, like the Subways and...
I was going to say like late 80s, early 90s punk. I like that there's two vocals going on in this track, and sometimes it's just a single line, but then it gets accented by adding the second vocal line in. It works really nicely. Like you can hear that, just subtle harmonies, just really subtle.
I feel like I want this to switch up, take a little bit of a different direction.
Strings are back. There's some sick guitar work on this album, man.
The way that faded out was incredible. There was a really cool little guitar section there. I wasn't actually a huge fan of The Greatest Parade on repeat. I feel like it was a bit repetitive in the chorus. At least they switched it up a bit towards the end, but probably the low point for me so far.
Yeah, I think in terms of repetitiveness, this is the most repetitive track that we've had so far. That was a mouthful.
Nice.
I'd nailed them both, though. Nailed them both. But I do think that The Greatest Parade would be a song that would be sung back really well live. Like in a live format, I think The Greatest Parade would be a really good track.
Yes, sir. But up next is Change. Ooh. It's just off the beat. The way it's been delivered is throwing me off a bit.
Great string use across this whole album so far.
Fairy tale-esque.
Yeah. Bro said change, and the song changed.
Didn't kick in quite how I thought it would, but I like it.
Yeah. I really like these key changes. They're very different to what I would expect to hear. It's going in different directions constantly. Some more amazing guitar work.
guitarist has been doing overtime on this project.
Another great outro on that track. I like that it isn't just a classic fade out. There's a whole little kind of instrumental section at the end.
Very light feeling, very airy. Liked the vibes of it. Although I would say at this point in the album, I'm kind of hoping in the next track we get a bit more energy, a bit more oomph in there. I like this, but I think we've had quite similar tracks a few times now.
Yeah, something that can inject a bit more of a oomph into the album at this point would be great. So let's find out what Monday Murder will bring.
Liking the sound of it.
Great vocals again. I really like the very minute effects that are on his voice. Just a really small amount of effects. It just adds this nice layer. Again, harmonies again. That's something else that's been standout. I'm really liking the amount of interludes on this. I think it really gives all the instruments a time to shine, and every person playing instruments on this album has put everything into this by the sounds of it.
Like that line, we'll fight for a beautiful life. It's good.
Some really nice swelling strings at the end there. I thought that was really cool. And something that I think I might have just picked up on, this may not be the case, but the album being called Idols, is this based on all the music that he used to like growing up that got him into music in the first place? Is he kind of paying homage to all of these bands that came before him that he likes?
I think that very well may be the case. And the funniest thing about that is a lot of those bands have insulted him massively over the years. So it's cool to see that that didn't put him off making the style of music that he wants to make.
I think Youngblood is definitely somebody that can separate art from the artist thing. So even though somebody be throwing shade at him, he's like, well, I still really respect you as a musician.
But that track made me think of a live performance of not just that, but this entire album. It sounds so cool with a full orchestra, a full set of strings behind him. I could imagine this being something that's done, you know, like the Royal Palace or something, like a fancy London venue, and it'd just sound epic.
Yeah, if he had like a 12-piece orchestra behind him or something, like the Manchester Symphony or something like that, that'd be really cool.
But before we go on to the next track, which is Ghosts, please do remember to hit like and subscribe. We recently did a first listen for Machine Gun Kelly's Tickets to My Downfall, which... I mean, I would have thought this would have been in a similar vein, but it's not at all. It's a completely different album altogether, but Ghosts. I am proper pining for a bit more energy at this point, though. Like, I've enjoyed the sound. I think he's done it well, but I just want a bit more.
I don't know if we're gonna get that at this point, though. Feels like there's a definite theme for this album, and I'm okay with it. But I see what you're saying.
I like the more raspiness to the vocals.
So much emotion in his voice. Like, a lot of emotion.
Woo! If it kicks in with a good drum beat here.
Oh, it did. It did. Right there. Oh, that bass. That's nice.
Great introduction to a track there.
Simplistic drums, but that shows a talented drummer when they know when to not go over the top. It just adds a lot to it.
They're in every element now. Background vocals, guitar riff, funky drum beat. Love it.
Let's not forget the bass. Come on. Half a track left here. So this is just going to be half instrumental.
Just a little vibe session.
I'm here for that.
That's mad. Sounds like some Prince of Persia stuff right here. It's like Indiana Jones is just walking through the market.
Oh.
The snake's coming out the pot. It's dancing.
What, it's the guitar, is it? That's the snake. Oh, where's this going? What the fuck's going on? This is sick.
You're so shocked right now.
What's happening? What an outro that was yet again. This album is really good at delivering these outros.
I think that was my favourite track so far. Really interesting. So many cool elements. The drumming was fantastic. The little guitar riffs, that last half just been a full-on jam session. Took us all over the place. Genuinely got me hyped and excited in moments.
Yeah, I thought that was phenomenal. That was some great work right there. And I'd love to know how much of this Youngblood is actually getting involved with. Is he a guitarist? Is he a drummer? Is he...
I think Youngblood, similar to a lot of kind of artists nowadays, is more a band at this point. You know, like Sam Fender always has the same guitarist, etc., working with him. Youngblood always seems to have the same guitarist. So I'd imagine it's like his band that have put all this together. And what a sound they've put together so far.
Yeah, this is phenomenal work. And we'll move on to the next track, which is Fire. I just want to point out as well, that last track was 6.5 minutes. The first track was just over 9 minutes. Those are some epic lengths. Like, that's not something that you usually see. But neither of those tracks have felt like they overstayed their welcome.
It feels really artistically inspired and like he's doing exactly what he wants to do. And you may class it as a test in terms of the sound that he's exploring, but I'm really impressed with the way that he's done it on both of those tracks. If I said I'm going to put on a 9-minute Youngblood track, I'd have lost my mind. Same with 6.5 minutes, but they've both been awesome.
Fire time.
It's giving like Midwestern American already.
It's giving, hey, brother. Whoa. I really like the guitar after the word fire. That's cool. That little motif being repeated. That's cool.
There's been sections even in these shorter songs where they just let the instruments do the talking, and I like that. It's very rare that you see artists do that nowadays.
Cool drop out of everything. Just drums and some atmospheric.
Pretty short, sweet, to the point, cool sound explored. Again, feels quite different to the rest of them actually. More 80s inspired with that kind of heavy guitar riff around the chorus fire. Thought it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Showed off the guitar again really well. I liked having the fire with the guitar motif after it that kind of carried on that word fire. So that wasn't just the chorus. The guitar is part of the chorus, if you know what I mean.
I'm also really happy because I was saying a few songs ago, I thought it was getting a little bit samey in sound, and then these last two have really gone not too far in a different direction where it feels like a different album, but far enough where it stopped me getting bored.
And let's jump into the next track with War.
Everybody loves the way you are, but you don't let them look inside you, do ya?
Kind of sounds like Ollie Sykes on this track for some reason.
I wish I could have been a better scar for you, but I wanna be a fake, I wanna be a liar, I
That was a cool build-up. I really like that.
That's
Whatever that
crazy
is.
note. Is that a guitar?
Don't know. Sounds like a traditional instrument, you know what I mean?
Did you see the beauty in the fall? We start a revolution and we stop again.
I feel like there's a lot more to the lyrics in this track than there has been in a few of the others.
Feels a lot more introspective.
Really like questioning himself.
But I wanna be a fake. I wanna be a liar.
There it is again. That was a cracking track, I thought. That was really nice.
I really liked the themes that it explored, the lyrics talking about kind of self-worth and opening up to people and whether you are actually showing your true self. I think that a lot of Youngblood fans will really appreciate that and find a deeper meaning in this. And the production again was fantastic. That one little guitar note or like synth note or whatever it was that kept coming in and just adding a little element to the track. I'm super impressed so far, I can't lie. This is not what I was expecting coming into this album.
The songwriting that we've heard on this album so far has been absolutely phenomenal. Like they've done such a good job of making every track have somewhat of a unique personality whilst all fitting in the same theme. Hard to kind of enunciate how I mean that, but hopefully you kind of get the idea that I'm trying to get across, which is like it's all within the same realm of music, but every track feels individual in its own way.
And there hasn't been a single feature. The entire album is just Youngblood, which really shows how much passion and energy he's putting into this, because most artists have at least one feature throughout an entire album. But we are on to the last two tracks. What is up next, Tim?
The next track is Idols Part 2, so will this be a follow-on from the second track on the album?
We're going to get a little emotional.
I think that's a reversed piano. It's very subtle.
Edges cracked and all. Only you will know what it's like to be alive.
It's giving Oasis.
When it's all you think about, you can't go back to the start. On your painted scars, they'll see you the way that you are.
Pretty calm little, what felt like more of an interlude, some fantastic vocals, nice piano, really simple track.
Really introspective stuff on that track, and I think you're right, that will definitely be a fan favourite, kind of like interlude of sorts. I think when he plays that live, I imagine he'll do Idols Part 1 into Idols Part 2.
Well, we're on to the last track in the album, Tim. Supermoon is up next. Let us know what your favourite song has been so far. Keeping up the piano vibes. I'd imagine they'd have gone into each other very nicely, but
Really nice transition, I imagine.
we've got a yap about it though, aren't we?
All you are is a self-fulfilling prophecy.
This Youngblood.
Is he crying?
Temptation, live in your imagination.
Is it an effect, or is he just wavering his voice?
Odyssey. Tell me what inspires you lately. Any more than you do. So don't be sad. Maybe I remember you vaguely. Yeah. Superman, supermoon.
This is 100% Bowie inspired. It's got to be.
Maybe I remember you
It's
vaguely.
such a good like set of vocals on this though.
If you're feeling strong enough. They don't ask, they don't know what it is that they love any more than you do.
Again, that drummer needs a pay rise because he is putting work.
Don't be sad any more than you do. So don't be sad. Don't be sad.
What an ending to the album that was.
Felt like a very fitting way to end off the project. I like the way that in the last 2 tracks it went into, again, a different sound that reminded me more of like Queen, Elton John style, as opposed to the more Britpop we got earlier. It's just, I don't know what has happened. I feel like I've been on a journey, but I'm not quite sure where I am or what I think of it.
I think for that track in particular, if we're talking about that, I think Stand Out on its own would be one of the best tracks on the album, in my opinion. Felt very heartfelt. The instrumental was good. It was calm. It was serene, but there was this kind of injection of energy in there as well. I don't know how to explain it. The drums particularly stand out on that as well. I think it was a great track.
Well, Tim, the album as a whole, Idols, YUNGBLUD is back with a very different sound compared to usual. What did you think of it?
I was pleasantly surprised with this project. As I've said before, YUNGBLUD wasn't really somebody that I've listened to massively in the past. He's somebody that I have enjoyed a couple of tracks from, but not really somebody that I've gone out of my way to listen to. And knowing how the previous projects were put together and what the sound was like, this seems like it's come out of a left field for almost everybody.
I heard a little bit of the singles and I did wonder if that was more just the singles. Do you know what I mean? He was just going in a different direction on those, and would the album be kind of similar to old YUNGBLUD projects? And it really wasn't. I liked the sounds that he explored. I would say there was a few moments where it maybe felt a little bit forced, like he was really trying to hit that Britpop or hit that 80s sound. But for the majority of the time, he did a very good job of it. And I liked the journey that the album took me on. As we were discussing it, I was like, right, maybe I'm getting a bit bored of this now. Boom, it changed. All right, maybe we need to switch this up. Boom, it switched it up. And I'm pleasantly surprised at how much I enjoyed this.
Yeah, what you're saying about it feeling forced on the Britpop side of things, I think what this album does really well is there's definitely times in which people can do imitations of other artists. I don't feel like this was that. I feel like this was an inspiration from other artists. I don't feel like he's purposely gone out of his way to try and be these other artists, but you can definitely feel the inspiration that they've had on him during these tracks, because every track on this album felt reminiscent of another artist or another style of music, and he's done a really good job to tie all of those together and make it a coherent project.
Yeah, I want to make it clear. That's why I say a little bit forced. Like there was just some moments. It was that Coldplay one, like the Coldplay one where it was practically exactly the same riff. There was just a few moments where I was like, maybe he's taken a tiny bit too much inspiration here. But overall, I think track by track, he captured the vibes of different eras, especially of British music, so well. It felt English. It felt like a moment that he was appreciating where he's from and the music that inspired him.
Another thing that we've not really spoke about on the album as a whole is the instruments, because I think they've done a phenomenal job on this project. They've done really good work. Everything sounded great. The guitar was great. The bass was great. The drums were great. All these weird atmospheric sounds that were thrown in there. I'd love to know who produced this album as a whole, because I think they've done some great work here.
But Tim, the question is the all-important one. What would you rate YUNGBLUD Idols out of 10? I know we've listened to it once. This is the first time listening to it. Let us know what you think as well, because usually we do album reviews where we'll listen to it beforehand and then just come and talk about the tracks. This is a kind of a different style, so let us know in the comments if you prefer this. But what rating would you give it out of 10?
I'm going to come in at a 7.5, and I genuinely believe that with more listens, I could bump that to an 8. Now, I'm very surprised that I'm saying that about a YUNGBLUD project, but this in particular is what albums should be. You know, there's no features on there. I'm not saying that features are bad, but the fact that it's all YUNGBLUD, top to bottom, and the entire project is really well polished, it's all coherent, it's everything that you would want from a project.
I'm going to come in a little bit lower than you, but not too far behind. I'm at a 6.5. I think there was lots of elements I enjoyed about this. A few songs weren't my favourite. I thought they sounded a little bit similar, but I'm definitely going to go through, re-listen to this a few more times and pick out the tracks that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I think there's some definite playlist potential in this album. And again, I'm surprised to ever be saying that about YUNGBLUD. I really enjoyed this album.
Well, there we go. If you're a YUNGBLUD fan, if you're a music fan in general, that's all we talk about here. So please do remember to hit like and subscribe.
Thank you very much for watching.